So in this video, we're going to be talking about Dreamcasting for a Survivor Heroes vs. Villains 2. So this is going to be Survivor Nicaragua Season 21 all the way through Season 41. So some honorable mentions for the villains. I was thinking Jatia, Marty from Nicaragua, Rodney and Dan from Worlds Apart. They were just at the bottom of my list, so I didn't put them on. And I was also thinking about Brad Culpepper from Blood vs. Water and Game Changers. You'll see why I didn't have him on this list in a bit. So some honorable mentions for the heroes. I was thinking about Ty and Trish and Wu and LJ. And you can make an argument for LJ being a villain because he was the only one in his tribe that ever did anything. But I do think that he is a hero. But again, all four of these were just at the bottom of my list. That's why they didn't make it on. So my first one is from Survivor Nicaragua, and that is Holly. And Holly put sand in somebody's shoes and threw it into the ocean so they would sink to the bottom. And she says this isn't what she's like outside of the game, which I'm sure is true, but in the game, she is a villain. There's no doubt about that. She plays like a villain in the game, and so she's a villain on my list. Next, from Survivor Redemption Island, I actually have two. I have a hero and a villain, and my hero is Matt. And I know a lot of people say that, well, Matt didn't really play the game, he was just on Redemption Island the whole time, which I don't disagree with, but I think in a non-Redemption Island setting, he would do great as a hero. My next one is a villain, and that's Philip. I think he's just like a Coach Wade, the Dragon Slayer. He's a former federal agent, and I think that he is definitely a villain. From Survivor South Pacific, I have a hero and I have two villains. So my hero is Cochran, and I know he doesn't want to play again. He works for CBS, so there's a conflict of interest thing. But I would like to see him play again. Definitely an underdog, somebody I would see as a hero. My next two were not villains in South Pacific. In fact, I think they were kind of heroes in South Pacific. But in Survivor Caramoan, the seasons they come back on, I do think that they both played like villains. My first one is Dawn. And in this picture of Dawn, she has her teeth missing because she was asked to take them out in Final Tribal Council by her former ally Brenda. And Brenda asked her this because in a previous episode, Dawn lost a retainer holding her teeth in, and she asked Brenda to go looking for them. It was in the ocean. We have no clue how long it took Brenda to find them, but she did find them, and we could assume it took a long time. Anyways, Dawn voted Brenda out, blindsided her a couple episodes later, and for this, I think that she's a villain. You know, Brenda and Dawn both stepped away from the game for a moment, and it was just a friend helping a friend, because Dawn was going to quit the game. But Brenda said, "Don't do it, Dawn." But Dawn still voted Brenda out after she found her retainer. I think that's just very villain-like. My next one is Brandon Hantz, also from South Pacific and Caramoan. And like I said with Dawn, he was a hero in this season, but a villain in Caramoan. In this picture, you see Jeff Probst massaging him because he is getting hostile with Philip. And I know Philip was also on this list, also as a villain. So seeing them on the same tribe, I think would be very entertaining. And Brandon Hantz is on this list because he spilled the rice, he spilled the beans. In this episode, it was at the immunity challenge that he was voted out, not tribal council, because the favorites tribe decided to forfeit immunity so that they could get Brandon out. From Survivor One World, again, I have two, a hero and a villain. My hero is Monica, and Monica is the reason that Brad Culpepper's not in here. It was either I had Monica as a hero or Brad as a villain, and I chose to go with Monica as a hero just because I think she is more heroic than Brad is villainous. And I know a lot of people don't like Monica's gameplay, especially in Blood versus Water, but I think that her social part of the game, her being the mother figure to everybody, is very impressive, and that's why I have her on this list. My villain is Colton, and Colton also came back in Blood versus Water, which he actually quit, and this is why I know he's never going to play again, but I would like to see him back, honestly. He's very entertaining. He told somebody that they could jump in the fire or quit. Those were their options. But then Colton ended up getting pulled from the game for medical reasons, and that person actually got fourth. But Colton is definitely a villain. From Survivor Philippines, again, I have a hero and I have a villain. My villain is Abby Maria. I mean, look at this picture. She's sticking her tongue out at somebody, just being all sassy, nasty. She's just a villain, no doubt about it. She's definitely on my list. My hero is Malcolm. He's very loyal. He's very good at challenges, very popular too, and definitely a hero on my list. So my next one is from Blood versus Water, and that's Sierra. She was the first one on my list, and it's just because she voted out her mom. And I do think that even if she didn't vote out her mom, she would still be on my list because of being a villain. And it's because of the Andrew Savage blindside in Cambodia. It's because of all the chaos and game changers. Even though she got voted out first, she caused a lot of chaos, and so she's definitely a villain on my list. From Survivor Cagayan, once again, I have a hero and I have a villain. First, my hero is Sarah, and she definitely played like a hero in Cagayan. There's no doubt about that. I know she tried to play like a villain in Game Changers, and she did for the most part. I do think that she was still a very heroic player. And then coming back in Winners at War, definitely a hero in that season, no doubt about it. My next one is a villain, and that is Cass. I mean, she called herself Chaos Cass. She's in countless blindsides. She flips all the time. Definitely a villain. From San Juan del Sur, I have a hero, and that's John. He's only played one time. I don't think he wants to play again just because it was a one and done thing, but I would like to see him play again. I thought he was a very good player, a very good strategist. He had a very positive attitude the whole time, of course, until he got blindsided. Although he still had a pretty positive attitude even then, and even when he went to Exile Island, always positive, very loyal, and very good at challenges too. He's definitely on this list. From Survivor Worlds Apart, I have two heroes this time. My first one is Joe. Again, very loyal. I think his only problem is that once it gets to the merge, then he starts scrambling because everybody wants to get him out because he's the biggest threat. Also from Worlds Apart, I have Carolyn. They called her Mama C. I mean, I just called her Mama C. She's the motherly figure on the tribe, definitely a hero. From Survivor David versus Goliath, I have one of the biggest underdogs in Survivor history, and that's Christian. I mean, Christian is probably my second favorite Survivor underdog, maybe second to Cochran, and that's just because Cochran won. But Christian is awesome. I love Christian, and he is definitely a hero. From Survivor Edge of Extinction, I have Rick Devens. I mean, great strategist, great at fake immunity idols, great at finding idols, definitely on my list, but as a villain. From Survivor 41, once again, I have one hero and one villain. My hero is Xander. I thought that he was very loyal. He played the game in a very social way, so he's definitely a hero. And for Ricard, he's just about the opposite of Xander. He was not to be trusted. He played the game in a very strategic way. So he is a villain, and Xander is a hero. So for my hero tribe, I have Xander, Cochran, Malcolm, Christian, Monica, Carolyn, John, Matt, Joe, and Sarah Lacina. For my villain tribe, I have Ricard, Philip, Brandon Hans, Holly, Dawn, Cass, Rick Devens, Colton, Sierra, and Abby Maria Nelms. Thanks for watching.